You know, life's too short for bad coffee. I've been wondering, is coffee my best friend or a secret saboteur, or am I just kidding myself? Hello everyone, it's Nick. Let's spill some coffee secrets. See, coffee's like that friend who amps you up for adventure, but keeps you awake all night. Sure, it gives you that boost when you need it, but at what cost? Okay, let's be real for a second. Who here experienced the magic of coffee? I mean, think about it. All over the world, people are starting their day with this magical elixir. From students cramming for exams to CEOs sealing million-dollar deals, coffee fuels our ambitions and sometimes our entire existence. But have you ever stopped to wonder, coffee has this almost mythical hold over us? Why is it the go-to drink for, well, pretty much everyone? It all comes down to this little thing called caffeine. Caffeine, my friends, is like the ultimate wingman for your brain. Caffeine blocks adenosine, the chemical that makes your brain feel sleepy, and bam, you're suddenly ready to conquer the world. And the best part, coffee doesn't just slap you awake like a cold shower, it actually triggers the release of dopamine. You know, that feel-good chemical that makes everything seem a little bit brighter. So basically, coffee doesn't just wake you up, it puts you in the zone. It's like a warm hug for your brain with a side of let's do this. Now, before you coffee addicts out there start chugging down the good stuff like it's going out of style, let's talk about the bigger picture. Because here's the thing about coffee, it's not just some delicious pick-me-up. This stuff actually comes with some seriously impressive health benefits. First off, remember how we talked about coffee giving your brain a boost? Well, it turns out those effects aren't just temporary. Studies have shown that regular coffee drinkers actually have better memory and cognitive function over time. So, yeah, coffee might actually be making you smarter. No promises, though. And get this, coffee is like a superhero for your brain, fighting off all those nasty villains that can cause problems down the line. We're talking a reduced risk of Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, and even some types of cancer. That's because coffee is packed with antioxidants, those little warriors that battle inflammation and protect your cells. But not all coffee is created equal. Filtered coffee, for instance, is considered one of the healthiest options. It removes compounds like cafestol with the help of paper filters, which are known to raise cholesterol levels. So, if you're sipping on filtered coffee, your heart might just thank you. Okay, so by now you're probably thinking, Nick, coffee sounds like the miracle elixir of life. Should I just hook myself up to an IV drip? And hey, I get it. But hold your horses, my friend, because as with all things in life, moderation is key. Too much of a good thing, even coffee, can turn on you faster than you can say caffeine jitters. Remember cortisol, that stress hormone we talked about earlier? Well, too much coffee can send your cortisol levels through the roof, making you feel anxious, jittery, and like you're about to jump out of your skin. Not exactly the recipe for a productive day, right? And if you're one of those brave souls who chugs coffee on an empty stomach, you might want to rethink that strategy. See, coffee can mess with your stomach acid, leading to heartburn, indigestion, and that not-so-fun feeling of your breakfast making a reappearance. Trust me, it's not pretty. Alright, so now that I've thoroughly terrified you about the potential downsides of coffee, let's talk about how to enjoy this beloved beverage without, turning into a jittery, anxious mess. Because trust me, it is possible to reap the rewards of coffee without suffering the consequences. First things first, let's talk about timing. I know that first cup of coffee in the morning is practically sacred, but hear me out. When you first wake up, your cortisol levels are naturally higher. Adding caffeine to the mix is like throwing fuel on the fire. So, try delaying your first cup for an hour or two after waking up. Next up, let's talk about what you're putting in your coffee. If you're a fan of those fancy, sugary coffee concoctions, I'm not here to judge much. But just know that all that added sugar is going to negate those awesome health benefits we talked about earlier. Stick to black coffee or use natural sweeteners like stevia or a touch of honey. Okay, my fellow coffee lovers, are you ready for a life hack that will change the way you approach your afternoon slump? Because I'm about to introduce you to the glorious concept of the coffee nap. Yes, you heard me correctly, coffee. And then a nap. It sounds counterintuitive, but stay with me here. So here's how it works. Step 1, brew yourself a delicious cup of coffee. Step 2, drink said coffee. Step 3, immediately take a 15 to 20 minute nap. I know it sounds crazy, but trust the science on this one. See, caffeine takes about 20 minutes to kick in, so by the time you're drifting off to dreamland, that caffeine is just starting to work its magic. The result? You wake up feeling refreshed, alert, and ready to tackle the rest of your day. Let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say the myths swirling around in your coffee cup. Because let's be real, coffee has been the subject of more rumours and misinformation than probably any other beverage on the planet. So, let's grab our metaphorical coffee filters and separate the facts from the fiction, shall we? Myth number 1, coffee stunts your growth. This one's a classic, often spouted by well-meaning but misinformed relatives. But fear not, my coffee-loving friends, because there is absolutely no scientific evidence to support this claim. So, go ahead and enjoy that latte without worrying about shrinking an inch. Myth number 2, coffee is carcinogenic because of acrylamide. Okay, this one is a little more nuanced. Acrylamide is a chemical that forms in coffee beans during roasting, and yes, it has been classified as a probable human carcinogen. However, the amount of acrylamide in coffee is very small, and the potential risks are far outweighed by the proven health benefits. Now, let's take a step back from the science for a moment and talk about something a little more abstract. The social impact of coffee. Because coffee isn't just a beverage, it's a cultural phenomenon. It's a ritual, a connector, a catalyst for conversation and connection. Think about it. How many first dates, business meetings and friendly catch-ups have taken place over a steaming cup of coffee? Coffee shops have become our modern-day saloons, places where people from all walks of life can come together, share ideas, and just be. But there's a flip side to this social coin too, because while coffee can bring people together, it can also become a crutch, a way to mask fatigue or avoid dealing with underlying issues. If you find yourself relying on coffee to function or experiencing withdrawal symptoms when you try to cut back, it might be time to reevaluate your relationship with this beloved beverage. So, after all that, what's the verdict on coffee? Is it a health hero or a villain lurking in your mug? Well, like most things in life, it's not that simple. Coffee can be both a powerful ally and a potential saboteur depending on how you approach it. The key, my friends, is balance. Enjoy coffee in moderation, follow those tips we talked about, and you can reap all the glorious benefits this magical brew has to offer. The energy boost, the brain power, the social connection. Now I want to hear from you. What's your go-to coffee order? Do you have any tried and true coffee hacks? Let's keep this conversation brewing in the comments below. And hey, if this video perked up your day even a little bit, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and share it with your fellow coffee enthusiasts.